going to be presenting now Raze, which is a Web3 capital platform, with Brian Anderson, the CEO here. So Brian, please welcome to the stage. Everyone put your hands together and welcome Brian.
Thank you all. I'm going to play a quick video here, if it plays.
Raze empowers your business to raise frictionless capital on your terms. Raze unlocks your biggest assets by turning your revenue streams and equity into capital using dynamic security tokens. Here's how it works. Step 1. Fill out the basic details on the Raze sign-up page and verify. Step 2. Upload corporate and fundraising documents and structure your DST offering. Step 3. Once approved, fill out your story, set a date for launch, and then begin marketing the offering. When your offering goes live, investors will be able to sign agreements and mint your DSTs instantly. Once investors participate and mint their DSTs, it takes just a few minutes for funds to hit your corporate wallet. When you're ready to make revenue or profit distributions, the Raze smart contract will lock funds in your investor accounts until they press claim and withdraw them. Throughout the process, you're in full control. You decide when and how much to raise. Think of Raze as an operating partner that gives you tools to raise capital when you need it on your terms. Raise today at raze.finance.
So, I've heard for a couple of years now in this space, when is utility coming? When is real use cases coming? We set out to really solve a few problems, and it started with the premise of how can we just use technology to make something that's already there a little bit faster, a little bit better, a little bit easier, and more accessible. And one of the problems we set out to do is to give more access to investors for people raising capital. It's hard enough to raise capital as a founder, as a startup. If anybody is a new founder, it's incredibly difficult to even start a company, let alone have to figure out how you get access to people who have the money to help you get to the next level. Next problem we set out to solve was make it easier to close investments, make it simpler. A third was being able to give people the ability to invest using their crypto. That's a big deal. I'm not talking about buying tokens. I'm talking about investing in private opportunities, rev share tokens, equity, etc. Being able to do some very different things we haven't seen. I heard some of this stuff talked about on stage today. How do we do that? Well, the solution's Raze. So we've built a minting platform, a Web3 minting platform, where people can actually launch their Raze on the platform. We're a software as a service business. We're not actually selling securities for the company, which keeps us compliant. We've got an incredible team of lawyers around us. That was really important. I didn't want to be in a gray area when we started this. And we're giving people the ability to actually issue their own offerings in a private way. I'll talk about compliance in a minute. The second thing we do is we give people the ability to use their crypto to privately invest, whether it's buying equity, whether it's investing in a revenue share type of contract, buying into an LLC agreement, really any contractual type of structure we can actually use with this minting platform. Next thing is being able to handle, using smart contracts, distribute dividends, royalties, rev shares, etc., using smart contracts. We all understand that. The platform is built to be completely simple, but it's also built to be compliant. That was really important. So right out of the gate, how do you remain compliant when you're raising capital? You've got to have everything geared towards accredited investors. So what we do is we have almost like a crowdfunding ease experience, but it's all behind a paywall and it's all private. So when I'm a founder and I want to pitch Raze, I can send them a private link with all the information, the storytelling, the videos, everything, but including the offer presented properly. Then at that point, the investor enters a dynamic investment experience, which means they have to first KYC. Then they have to confirm that they're an accredited investor. And then they walk through the actual normal process of doing their due diligence, understanding where's your data room? Like, let me see the information that I need to get access to. Let me see your pitch deck. All that is inside the platform and accessible and easy so that the founder or the business raising capital doesn't have to send all these different things in different ways. It's all in one place. But the most exciting part is they get to have the option to be able to use their crypto or wire money. We actually have that built in as well. So if you want to traditionally send a wire, we can actually send a claim process and you can go claim your tokens pretty quickly, actually, your NFTs. Now, once you've invested, once you've actually transferred your money and you've completed your mint, you now are able to see your NFT balance. Of course, one thing I failed to mention earlier is we don't have user ID and passwords or anything like that. You have to log in with your Web3 compliant wallet. So once you have your NFT in your wallet, you now are an investor. The contract that you just signed, like a subscription agreement or a safe agreement or a revenue share agreement or whatever it is now tied to your NFT. And we actually have a tokenized identity process where we mint an identity token for that investor as well. So everything's kind of integrated in the system. There's so many different use cases that we've dreamed up, thought of. The common thing I tell people is if it currently exists in a contract, we can probably do it with the system, including membership LLC agreements and all sorts of complicated structures, potentially even debt financing. We've got an awesome team behind us, everything from blockchain experts to developers to marketing people. I've got an incredible securities veteran on our team as well. I was just in New York with him. We've got lawyers. We've got a lot of people behind this that are really excited about where we're taking this. I set out a mission when we launched this summer. It was in June at Consensus, and I said, we have to raise money using our own platform, or we can't ask anybody else to do this. So we did a pre-seed raise of 175K using dynamic security tokens. Actually, we offered rev share agreements, tokenized rev share agreements. We went through the whole process of rolling that out this summer. We built our first version, launched it, took on our first 2 clients just recently, just in the last few weeks. And we've got some pretty big goals moving forward that you can see there. What do we need? What are we asking for? So we have 2 different offers for investors. We actually just launched a safe offer where we're raising $1 million for $25,000 minimum investment. You can mint an NFT. You can use ETH, USDC, Wire, and you can actually participate in our safe offering. We also are continuing to sell our revenue share tokens. These are revenue share agreements. The agreement's pretty rock solid, and we're giving away 10% of our fractional gross revenue in perpetuity for anybody who owns one of these. There's only 400 of them. We've gone through about 100 of those. So what I'll open it up for questions, but what I'll leave people with and what I'll say is that, again, I've always believed that technology should be used to improve things that already exist and make it better. Sure, you can invent something that's never existed. That's powerful as well. But a lot of times, some of the best technologies are improving something that already exists. That's what we're setting out to do. Now, where we can take this is unlimited. But I believe in the NFT structure so much, because when I minted my first NFT, it probably did what a lot of you guys did when you minted your first NFT, and it kind of opened up my mind to so many different things. I think there's a great place for fungible tokens. I think there's powerful things you can do with fungible tokens, but when you're raising capital, it doesn't always make sense to launch your own token. In a way, it almost feels like I'm going public by offering a token. Right? Even if it's a utility token, but that's not really supposed to be used for fundraising. So what we're doing is giving people to be able to fundraise in a traditional way, but using an NFT structure. So I want to open it up for questions, and I'm sure there's some out there. Yes?
Where are the documents? Where are the documents platform here?
Great question. So we store the documents, a local copy on our kind of centralized servers, and then also the document is emailed to the investor as well.
So you can say that later.
It doesn't have to. no, but that's where we got it right now. Yeah. Yes.
So if I go on the platform and I want to issue a security token, the process of ensuring compliance is manually and requires human intervention and is somewhat long. So is that integrated right in? Like what prompts the SEC to start doing the due diligence and ensuring?
Well, what's great about it is you're taking your existing legal contracts, right? Whatever it is you're doing, and we're simply attaching that legal agreement to an NFT. So really, the NFT is just a container. It's holding the agreements. It's showing proof of ownership of whatever it is that you've invested in. It's a reference point to the actual investment. It's not a fungible token. And so when we talk about the SEC and we talk about compliance, if you're fundraising in a compliant way, you should be pitching to accredited investors. You should have legal agreements. You should be doing KYC. You should be doing all these things. Our platform supports every one of those steps. I have time for one more. Okay, one more.
What is to prevent me from using a straw man who's an accredited investor, buying it, and then transferring it to someone who's not?
Very good question. So the NFT, once it sits in your wallet, is of course your wallet address is tied to our identity token inside the platform. So if you were to transfer your NFT to someone else, basically an illegal security transfer, then at that point, that person could try to come in and claim the benefits of the future, or try to say, hey, I'm the investor now, or I own this, and our system would kick them out and say, you're not the actual identity, you're not the person that actually owns that token. Yes? Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian. And yes, Raze, everyone. Fantastic. Oh.
I just want to make one comment because it's part of the panel's responsibility as judges here to disclose if you have an interest in a company. And I just want it for the record that I'm one of those initial 100 stakeholders in the project of Raze.
Great. Thank you for that transparency. That's what this community is all about.